What's the best Royal Caribbean cruise ship out there for you? Recently, I did a video talking about the best Royal Caribbean cruise ships out there, my favorite five and least favorite five. But what is the best ship for you and your family or your situation? Well, today, I wanted to break down the best Royal Caribbean cruise ships based on the type of traveler that you are up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. One thing I love about Royal Caribbean is how big its fleet is because it offers something different for everybody. And depending on what your needs are, there's a great ship out there for you. Let's start with the best cruise ship out there for adults. I think this is a really good example of what I'm talking about because if you're having an adult-focused cruise, you're not bringing kids on board, or at least you're not bringing kids that are, under the age of 18, let's say, and you want to have more of an adult-focused sailing, there are a number of ships that truly stand out. And number one may be a surprise because it was actually designed for younger kids in mind. But Icon of the Seas, I really believe, is a true crowd pleaser for adults just as much as they are for kids. Royal Caribbean went in a slightly different direction with Icon of the Seas, and forgetting the kid stuff on the ship, I feel like the adult vibe on here is more Las Vegas than traditional cruise ship. So instead of having a traditional solarium for the adult-only pool area, they actually have this amazing space on the back of the ship called the Hideaway, and it has more of a pool party vibe to it, and I really think it brings attention to adults who want to have a great place to hang out outside, enjoy the ocean breeze, be in the water, but have an amazing view from a suspended infinity pool, multi-level terrace, hot tubs, and even a bar there as well. I also think other areas just simply lean towards being adult-centric. Like as an example, the Swim and Tonic Bar, which is the first swim-up bar in Royal Caribbean's fleet. And while kids are allowed in this area, I feel like this generally tends to, again, lean towards being more adult-friendly. Then you have other great favorites that have nothing to do with the pool, but adults will love. There's the Dueling Pianos Bar on the Royal Promenade. That is really a lot of fun. I had done like one Dueling Pianos back in 20 years ago, but I went on this one on Dueling Pianos on Icon, and I really loved what they did with this. And of course, you have also other favorites like the Schooner Bar and the English-style pub on board. Lots of great entertainment. There's also a lot of great late-night parties on board. The casino is truly impressive. I really think Icon is a fabulous ship for adults. But I'd also point out that maybe a ship like Navigator of the Seas going out of Los Angeles is fantastic for adults because it offers a really updated aesthetic to the ship, and they have some really nice venues on board. As an example, one of my favorite places to hang out on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship is the Bamboo Room, and it's only available on Navigator of the Seas and Mariner of the Seas, but they have some really fun ideas here. Like they have the On the Run cocktail, which kind of is like an adult Capri Sun. It's so cool, you got to try it at least once. Plus, Navigator of the Seas has amazing restaurants on board, like Playmaker Sports Bar, Hooked Seafood, and these are great for having an adult-focused atmosphere or even a fun date night on board the ship. And the fact that it goes out of LA offers both 3-night cruises and 7-night sailings that make it really convenient to have either a weekend getaway with just adults or go for a longer sailing and enjoy some amazing destinations over in the Baja Peninsula. Next up, I wanted to pick out the best Royal Caribbean cruise ship if you're on a budget. You're looking to get on a Royal Caribbean cruise. You don't want to break the bank, but you truly want to have a great experience. Now, there's two ways to look at this. I'm going to go for the budget ship, and then I'm going to go for the I need to spend as little money as possible because I just want to get on a ship, but I don't care what ship it is as long as it's a cruise, and I spend as least amount of money as I can. So the best budget ship right now is probably a ship like either Navigator of the Seas, which I mentioned, or Freedom of the Seas. And I really like Freedom of the Seas especially because she has some even better upgrades than even Navigator got. Royal Caribbean's Freedom of the Seas is one of the 3 Freedom-class ships, and what's nice about this ship is because it's sort of starting to get a little older, it's about 20 years old now, which is crazy to think about, it has a lot of nice upgrades to it. The pool deck has more of a resort-style pool aesthetic to it. You've also got a brand new non-smoking casino that's been added to the Royal Promenade. Of course, there's some great restaurants on board. You've also got the Lime and Coconut Bar, which is really nice. I like that bar quite a bit. It's got El Loco Fresh, and generally speaking, pricing-wise, it's right in that sweet spot. When you get to ships that are more than about 10 years old, pricing for them tends to be a lot lower than newer ships. But when you get into the really old ships that are like 20 plus years old, well, you're starting to compromise on the onboard experience. We'll talk about that in a little bit with my next pick. But Freedom is still in that great balance of you're paying less than a new ship, but you're still getting some great experiences on board. But if you're like my neighbor Kenny, who absolutely wants to go on a cruise ship for as little money as humanly possible, then I would recommend a ship like Enchantment of the Seas. I went on Enchantment for the very first time just a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was actually much better than I expected. Enchantment is an old ship. We're talking over 25 years old. It was built in the 90s. That's how old it is, and by virtue of being that age, it's also usually priced extremely well. Part of the reason why it's priced so low is because of its age and lack of amenities on board, certainly compared to the newer ships. But don't let that fool you. Just because it doesn't have like 17 restaurants or it doesn't have water slides or a Broadway show doesn't mean it's a bad ship. I was actually impressed by things like how nice the casino was, how big it was, in fact, or the fact the pool deck was massive and offered some great bars with amazing views. But the pricing is truly what stands out of a ship like this. If your goal is to get on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship and sail for as little as possible, odds are you'll probably be able to get on a ship like Enchantment of the Seas or even Grandeur of the Seas or Vision of the Seas for a lot less than Icon or even Freedom or pretty much any other ship out there. The oldest ships tend to have that little silver lining of being a great value. Now, you have to go into it with the understanding that it's not going to have all the bells and whistles and things you see on Royal Caribbean commercials out there, but it's a great ship for anybody who's truly budget conscious and simply wants to get on a cruise for as little as possible. If you're somebody that's got kids and you're looking for the best Royal Caribbean cruise ships for kids, and I went through a bunch of different ships out there, and I really think there's a couple that stand out. First and foremost, Star of the Seas is going to be launching in 2025, and that is probably going to be the ship for families, bar none, coming out anytime soon. Star of the Seas will be the second Icon class cruise ship, and similar to Icon of the Seas, they've packed a lot in here. Now, I talked about earlier how Icon is great for adults, and Star obviously will have the same things in there, but what makes Star even better for families than Icon is Surfside is getting some tweaks to it to appeal to even older kids. So on Icon, they really wanted the Surfside neighborhood, which is the first neighborhood on any Royal Caribbean ship to appeal and really go after the young child demographic. With Star, they were like, let's change that, because on Icon it was like 6 and under was the target. Well, here on Star, they're looking for probably like 10 and under. And obviously, that opens that up to a much bigger audience and will appeal to many more kids. And of course, Star of the Seas will have plenty of activities on board the ship to keep kids and families happy. It's hard to go wrong with Royal Caribbean's latest ships for families simply because there's something for everyone on board. And there's a lot, in fact, if you've got younger children on Star of the Seas. My other favorite pick for any family out there that's looking to maybe do a multi-gen cruise in which their kids, their parents, and grandparents, Wonder of the Seas is one of my favorites. Not only is it a brand new ship, but it is truly one of the best ones out there because it offers something for kids, teens, and grandma to enjoy together. Oasis class ships are packed with the very best Royal Caribbean has. You've got water slides, a giant aqua park, surf simulator, 2 rock walls, playscape, a carousel, and there's even a zip line, ice skating, hot tubs, 10-story dry slide, the adult-only solarium, one of my favorite bars in the entire world, the Mason Jar Bar, Royal Theater, Studio B ice skating, comedy shows, diving shows. There's always something happening on board, and that's why I absolutely love it. If you're new to cruising or you're traveling with a wide variety of ages, it's really hard to go wrong with an Oasis-class ship like Wonder of the Seas. If you're traveling solo, meaning you're cruising by yourself on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, it can be tough because Royal Caribbean is definitely not the line out there that's best known for this, but I definitely would recommend either Quantum of the Seas or Anthem of the Seas, and I really like Anthem of the Seas especially. Royal Caribbean has the most solo cabins available on Anthem and Quantum, and these are rooms that are designed for a single traveler. Not only will they have enough space for just yourself, but also you won't pay the single supplement fee, which is the fee that Royal Caribbean charges you to book a normal room by yourself. Basically, cruise ships are based on double occupancy, and if you try to book a cabin by yourself, you're going to be charged for the second person through the single supplement fee, so it's like the same difference. But in a studio cabin, that's not the case. That's a really nice benefit. There's not many of them. There's about 28, I believe, of these cabins on board, and listen, they're not amazing, but you don't pay that fee. That's a great benefit and could save you some extra money. Not only that, of course, I actually love the Quantum class. I recently did Anthem of the Seas in Europe in the summer of 2024, and you know what? I like that ship way more than I remember liking it. I liked it plenty, but it grew on me a lot, and I think it's great for a solo traveler because there's a lot of cool things on board. Not only is there, of course, these solo rooms on there, which I didn't even book anyway, but that's beside the point. There's a lot of great bars and venues that are really conducive for being a solo traveler. Like the Music Hall has some great seats that are right at the bar, and it's really easy to pony up there and sit there and enjoy it. In fact, the Casino Bar, fantastic as well. And the Schooner Bar has a great layout with seats around the bar. Again, the seating being more conducive for solo travelers does make a big difference out there. Plus, you have some great activities on board the ship, like the North Star and Ripcord by iFly, and of course, some great dining. In fact, one of my favorite solo tricks on a Quantum class ship is to eat at Izumi Sushi because they have a sushi bar there, and it's really easy to get a seat there almost any time at the sushi bar and be able to enjoy a meal without like that pressure or feeling like, oh gosh, I'm sitting here at a table by myself. And lastly, what's the best Royal Caribbean cruise ship for a quick weekend cruise? I know this is like right up Royal Caribbean's marketing alley, but I got to admit they're right. Utopia of the Seas. Now, Royal Caribbean markets Utopia as being a party ship, and it's really aimed at trying to attract new cruisers. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there is some truth to that. However, having been on Utopia of the Seas about 7 times now, I really like it. Now, obviously, I live in Central Florida, so it's really easy and convenient for me to get there. And that definitely plays into why I've been on that ship so many times. But I'll be honest with all of you, there are plenty of ships that sail out of like Tampa that I've not gone on many times. And that says a lot about Utopia because I really do enjoy the ship. Being the latest and greatest is always a huge win. And the availability of different venues on board and how fun it is on board really makes a big difference. When you're doing a short cruise, a 3-night cruise, which by the way, Royal Caribbean is going to be offering more and more of these sailings in the future, I think it's just so much easier on a ship like Utopia. It's based out of Port Canaveral, which makes it convenient to get to from Orlando. And the great thing about Orlando is a lot of different airlines fly there. It's not like Miami that's dominated by American Airlines. And it's a pretty easy shot over to the coast. I mean, it's about a half-hour, 45-minute ride, but really not bad at all. The other really good thing about a 3-night cruise is it allows you to really splurge a little bit more because the cost is not nearly as much as on a 7-night cruise. You can buy a drink package as an example. It's going to cost you less than a 7-night cruise because there's obviously less days on board. You might go for a suite, which is something I've done a lot of times where we've indulged in a really big, nice suite like the Ultimate Family Suite. But we did it on Utopia. Why? Because it's only 3 nights. It costs way less than a 7-night sailing. And then, of course, you have some great venues that I absolutely love. The Mason Jar, my favorite go-to spots on board. Utopia probably has the best Izumi setup in the fleet with Izumi Sushi, Izumi Hibachi, and Izumi Omakase, which is just fantastic and different choices, really big. The Giovanni's location on Utopia, again, absolutely beautifully stunning and great food as well. But if you're in the market for a cheap 3-night cruise or a cheaper 3-night cruise, I would definitely, once again, point to one of the Vision class ships sailing out of Tampa, Florida. Some of my favorites, of course, we mentioned Enchantment, but she does a little longer sailings. But if you can get like a 4-nighter on either Enchantment or Grandeur of the Seas, those are great ships to go on. Again, for a quick getaway, the Schooner Bar on Vision class ships is absolutely beautiful. I think they've done the best layout there, either on the Vision class or maybe even the Radiance class, but that's a different video for a different day. I really think Royal Caribbean had it right with the Vision class Schooner Bar. It's really great in there. And then, of course, you just have the ambiance, all the glass, the views from on board the ship in the Centrum. I like it a lot, and I think it's a great option for anybody who's on a budget and looking for a great weekend escape. So there you have a look at the best Royal Caribbean cruise ships depending on which kind of traveler you are. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with my picks, or are there better choices for some of these demographics I identified? And which would you choose for you and your family if you were trying to get into a weekend cruise, a budget cruise, a solo cruise? I'm looking forward to reading your comments below the video. Also, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It's amazing how many people don't subscribe to our channel, or worse yet, don't hit the bell notification. It's totally free to get notified when we have a new video to share. And I promise we're not going to spam you with a bunch of messages. We only post a couple videos a week, but that way you know when there's a new video out there. Thanks for watching. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.